Welcome to the Sexy Confidence Podcast. Sexy confidence is a state of mind. It's an attitude that enables you to master yourself so you can stay calm during stressful challenges and situations. And when you're calm, you're better able to take command of any room you step into so you can magnetize opportunities for impact and growth. And this podcast is for you if you're a high caliber female entrepreneur and want to kick self-doubt and perfectionism to the curb. I'm Sandra Gonzalez, a retired Marine officer turned high performance coach speaker, and I'm so happy you're here. Hello, and welcome to the Sexy Confidence live stream. I'm so happy you're here, whether you're watching the live or you're watching the replay. I am honored to have you here because my guest is going to captivate you. My guest is going to challenge you to level up. And I'm so excited you're here. Trust me, you're going to want to stay for the entire live stream. And it's not going to be long. It's going to be to the point, filled with valuable information. So having said that, I quickly want to be clear what this podcast is all about, what this live stream, who I serve. And I'm Sandra Gonzalez once again, and I am passionate about helping high-performing female entrepreneurs kick self-doubt to the curb so you can cultivate sexy confidence and take command of any room you step into so you can magnetize opportunities for impact and growth. So having said that, my goodness, my guest today, let me tell you about this woman, Dr. Constance J. Leyland, my sister from another mister, right? Or CJ as we call her. This woman is a global community leader. This woman has 4 degrees. That's right. I said 4, cuatro. She has 2 beautiful daughters that I've personally met, an incredible supportive husband. She's also been a university dean. She's a podcast host, a published author, and the CEO of Level Up Academy. And that's what you're here for. You're here, like me, to level up because enough is enough. You're here because you want more sexy confidence, to be authentic, to be transparent. And my guest today, my sister, is going to help you do that. And she's going to share some amazing tips. Now, before I introduce her, she's going to share some secrets, some tactics, some strategies around embracing challenges. She's going to share some strategies around time management skills, and she's going to share her secrets of how she takes command of any room she steps into, because I've seen her through webinars, I've seen her in person, and without further ado, please welcome Constance J. Leyland. Ma'am, where are you? Please introduce yourself. I'm so honored to have you here.
I know. I'm like, wait, I was putting it on. I'm like, dude, I look like a pirate, but okay, whatever. Before we start, sister, look who we have. Hello, Christine. Oh, and look at this. Another Espanol familia.
Raquel Hermosa.
Lovely to be here.
Thank
Happy
you.
Friday,
Happy
right?
Friday, ladies. That's what's up. Yes.
Mario, don't think I've met.
Oh, my brother from the military. I love you, brother. He's got, I believe, his podcast as well.
Ooh, we're coming up. We're
Yes,
gonna be bombarding you, that's for sure.
that's right.
Susanna is here.
Susana, so
What?
powerful, Susana.
Oh, look,
Oh,
we
thank
love
you, Raquel. we have to fly out to Texas to meet
I know.
Raquel. These
There's
are
Tia, Raquel, Brian. We're gonna drag Mike back. I think Jody Lamb is also there. Sandra, yes, she is amazing, right?
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, lady. So honored to have you here. But let's get to the nitty gritty. Like when I jump on a podcast, when I listen, like I'm like, give me the information, give me the valuable skills, the tools that I can add to my tool belt so I can take action that will help me, monetize my passion. Hi, Zarina. So honored to have you here, babe. So, sister, I am dying to ask you my first question because there's so many more, but my first question to you is this: how can high caliber female entrepreneurs or males that are watching, how can we embrace more challenges in life or business so we can grow?
One word, discomfort. And I wanted to say that because I hear a lot of people, oh, I want to grow, I want to level up, but we're always sitting on comfort. We want to say, yes, I want to grow up, I want to skill up, I want to level up, I want to do something with my business, but you don't want to be discomfort, right? Because you're comfortable where
Yes.
you're at. You're saying one thing, but you're not acting like you're really ready to go. I'm going to ask you this. How comfortable are you doing this first live show on your own?
So I know I was born for this. I love this. I love live events even more because you can engage the audience, their energy. As a speaker, as you already know this, sis, the onus is on us to capture their attention because their attention is everything, right? They're distracted with phones, they're distracted with stressors, internal stressors, external distraction. And as a speaker, it's so important to be influential. It's so important to say things in a way that will impact them, not only so they can understand the topic, um, you know, not only so they can grasp the topic, whatever it is that you're speaking on, but so they can take action. Because come Monday morning, as you already know, willpower, it dissipates, right? Motivation, it dissipates. So then what do you have to work with when those reliable factors are gone? So that's just, I mean, I can go on and on in regards to, you know, learning to be uncomfortable is a skill set. Like, get comfortable with a discomfort.
Mhm.
And I know I personally challenge myself in all aspects, the the mind, the body, the business, because this is what a high performing female entrepreneur wants. She has to step outside her comfort zone. So sis, please tell me more. It's and I mean, I'm going to have more time to share more stuff about me, but discomfort. So, what comes to mind when you say this? What has been the biggest lesson that created that discomfort for you? Whether it was as a university dean, where you realized, oh my goodness, I'm nervous, but I have to face my fear. I have to face this level of discomfort. What comes to mind, and what did you learn?
I learn a lot. As you know, I'm learning always, left and right. But here's what I'm gonna tell you. When people say develop a mind of continuous learning and be open, you need to be open. You
Mhm.
also need to make sure that you are going to be not only challenging yourself, but paying attention to what the community needs, right? Because I always tell my students, yes, you're running a business, yes, you're doing this, but you think it's a business. But if you are creating something that doesn't actually solve a problem, that is not a business, that is a hobby. Okay, now when you're doing that, you also need to dig deeper on the mission. What is your mission? For me, I
Mm.
don't want to get sustained whatever because I got something going on in my life. I said, it's not even about me, right? My adversity is here always, every day, but my mission is bigger than my adversity. I always believe that. So, what is my mission? My mission is to level up the world through education. Everything I do every day always goes back to my mission, right?
Mm.
If you work for somebody else, your daily task should always go back to what the mission of the organization is. And if you're not doing everything in your power every day towards that mission, you failed, and your manager failed to explain to you. So everything you do in your business, if you want to help women, you have to look at what kind of help do they need, but you can't assume, you have to ask. That was my thing too. Like, the reason I even started a podcast is I couldn't see anything the solution, but my girlfriend's like, well, you're complaining to me that they're all leaving and the students are leaving, but did you ask them? As simple as that. I'm like, no. And she's like, duh, CJ. And I was like, oh, fine. So I asked them, and when I ask them, then I cater my solution towards that. I think our problem is we like to prescribe people on what we think the solution for them is, when
Mm.
we don't even know what their problem is, right? And
Yes.
we don't know what they want either. They gotta tell me. But you do have some clients. I do have some clients that when you talk to them, they don't even know what their problem is.
Right.
They don't know where to start. And I said, okay, start with, what do you like to do? What
Mm-hmm.
gets you up that butterfly? And you're like, oh, like you said this. I love to help women. I love to be in the limelight, right? And what you're doing is what you love right
Yes.
now. The challenge,
Absolutely.
just because you're doing what you love and you're comfortable, I've been teaching for 10 years and I'm not always comfortable with what I'm doing, but I have confidence enough that if I show up, that's another thing. If you show up and you're trying your best, not to be perfect, but just trying your best, that is more than enough for some people when they see. And when you think that no one is watching, everyone is watching, or at least someone is watching, right?
Absolutely.
We embrace more challenges by having a mindset of continuous improvement. Be comfortable of discomfort.
Yes.
Don't be complacent, and do not take no for an answer. And even if someone tells you, Sandra, it's no, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I literally will say you that to you. It is a maybe, because at least that maybe will give me a wiggle room to do something else. Even when I've been in sales for a while, so I don't take no for an answer. Even the CEO's like, CJ, I don't need you. I'm like, not yet. You will tomorrow. Watch, right?
Love. Yes. And I've seen that persistence firsthand and I love it and it's contagious. Another thing that you brought up, going back to the why, right? So for the women that are watching, you have to understand your why, this mission statement for the organization, because it will help spark intrinsic motivation. And that is everything, sister, right? That intrinsic motivation that fuels you from within. And you know that if you don't do it, you feel like, God, I don't feel right. Why am I stuck? It's because, and this is where I come in. This is why I'm passionate about helping women. It's this inner critic that can be a naysayer, or it could be a naysayer, a bully, or your best friend, right? So it's so important to learn how to generate this intrinsic motivation. What comes to mind as you hear me say that? Intrinsic motivations is what lights your derriere in action. What lights you up?
Feedback.
Ooh.
Feedback lights me up. Um,
Mm.
some people don't like feedback because they're afraid in their head that, oh my gosh, if she gives me feedback, I'm gonna melt down and die of embarrassment. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I love feedback, and I'm not gonna get embarrassed. I was talking to
Yes.
my daughter yesterday, and she's like, Mom, how did you like survive high school not speaking English and then taking over the school in 3 months? And literally, I went to public speaking contest. I could barely speak English, and I won over a junior and a senior. And she's like, how did you do that? And I said, because I came from dirt, right? Like third world country. I've seen poor. all of these is such a luxury that I was not afraid to do anything or say anything so long as I'm getting what I need. It's that survival, that hunger to do more for other people and to do more for myself, that I'm not afraid to fail, because failure is not doing anything. If you stay like,
Yes.
look at a shark. Have you seen a shark sleep? Just sleep in there? No, they always keep moving or they will die. Literally, scientifically, they keep moving or they will die. Right? They're not like a bottom feeder or fish that just stay there and hide. No, shark just keeps going. Right? And
Yes.
I feel like if we don't keep going and continuously learning about ourselves, we will die, whether physically or inside. Right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny you bring this up because yesterday I was watching the people that live the longest, right? And they call them centurions. Centurions, I think I got the
Mhm.
word right. They um they're like in Okinawa, Japan. And I know I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. As a matter of fact, my oldest was born in Okinawa, Japan. So as I was watching, I was like, Mom, look, you've been to Okinawa, Japan. Look, they're suggesting that, what you're suggesting, what the sharks are doing. You got to keep moving. You got to keep that mind fragile, which is another topic that I want to talk about later, Six, because this is one of many podcasts, just FYI, growth mindset. That's another topic for discussion later. But keeping to to the agenda, I'm a stickler for time. Let's segue into my next question that is very important. Not to cut you off, I love the shark story, but what can amazing high caliber entrepreneurs, right? Because they juggle various responsibilities. What are some tips so they can allocate the right time and attention? Because, grasping somebody's undivided attention is everything. So, the right time and attention without feeling overwhelmed.
First is don't overcommit yourself. I shouldn't say that because I feel like I usually overcommit myself, but that would be my next thing. But have a strategy. So before I tell you what my strategies are, let me tell you what I do. And Mike and Raquel probably laughs at this. Is like, "What? Where's CJ now? Sia, I can't keep up to Sia. It's like, where are you? I can't keep up with what's happening." Um, what I do, I have 3 time management strategies that I talk to about it in my audio room. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you what I do. So first thing, I get up in the morning. I'm going to walk you through my day. I get up about 6 o'clock because of my dog. They have to go to the bathroom. Sometimes 5:30, especially if I give them too much water at night. So 5:30 to 6, I walk them, and then I kind of make my coffee, and then I do meditation, and I also do journaling for 15 minutes. That's all. And then one of the monk friend that I have in podcast said, when you meditate, do not sit on your bum bum, because that's not actually, you're not getting all the chi throughout your body.
Oh,
You see half of your body, and then the rest of your body is not there. And I was like, oh, I did it all this years wrong. Where were you in my life? He's like, I'm already here, sister. Let's do it. I'm like, oh. So now I stand doing my meditation, and I literally do meditate on gratefulness. What am I grateful for today? Because I feel like my mind starts well when I'm on a positive note, right? It could be having earthquake, which we just did, by the way, and you were sleeping in your tushy. I basically will make sure that I am set for the day by having that. I have to have coffee or I get major attitude. My kids know that. And then basically from there, I look up my gratitude. See, that's like start each day with a grateful heart.
hmm.
This is my calendar. Okay. So if you're not in my calendar, you're not it. And I literally will journal in here, but I also I did this, the tab, because I like to tab everything. Don't ask me. And then of course my notebook is also pink. Yeah. So I'm a pink girl.
You're very, I love you for that. For my viewers or listener, you're very pink. You're bougie too. You're
I am
you're
bougie.
beautiful, bold, and bougie.
I can't help myself. But here's the thing. Starting my day with a grateful heart, and then I have these jobs. I'm going to tell you. So not only I have 3 dogs now, it used to be 4. We had to do something with the other dog. And then, of course, my kids got to go to school, right? Got to start with that. Then, of course, my coffee. And then, of course, my job. And then, of course, my podcast. Of course, my business. Of course, my courses. Of course, my student grading, which I have about 400 students. Because not only will I work for Loris as a business entrepreneur director, I also teach for them full time, but I also am doing SNHU, which I'm also teaching there still for their master's program, and I've been with them for almost 10 years, and I will not quit because they really do great training. So after all that, then I have to do everything else on my student questions because I have the student questions, and then I work on projects that we have for our community. So how do you
Mm.
fit all of that nonsense throughout the day? That's just too much. And don't forget laundry, toilet cleaning, trash, right? All of the nonsense we have to do too. So what I do is I have three strategies. The first one is called Pomodoro. Okay, it's
Ah, yes.
Italian, right? Basically, it's like the little tomato timer, right? Mine is a cute little Rilakuma because I love Japanese stuff. So I literally the Pomodoro time management is 25 minutes intense work. That means you do not look at your cell phone if unless this is your timer, right? That I don't use this as my timer because I got ADHD and I'm like, oh, what's in LinkedIn? No. So I just put it down. I do my little timer just for time. You can use your baking thing from 99 cents. It doesn't matter. 25 minutes intense work with what you're doing. 25.
Mm.
When that timer goes in, 5 minutes, take a break, walk away, stretch, talk to your dogs. I know Nicole's here. She probably will have a smoke or a cigarette. It's bad for her. She already knows this. But do whatever you need to do in that 5 minutes, right? And do
Yes.
that. Now, if you hit 4 times, which is in an hour or two, 2 hours, you need a longer break after that. You need a 30 minutes. Okay. And
Okay.
then after that, so that's how I prevent burnout. Now, that's just the timing. There's
Mm.
also Eisenhower, right? So basically what it is the four quadrants. You have to look at your tasks. So I look at my calendar to start with and said, okay, what is urgent that I can do now and also that needs to be done now, right? I always categorize my activities. And then the ones it's like urgent but not really kind of emergency that we need to, that someone I can either delegate or I can do at the midweek. I always have a quadrant to say what is urgent I need to do now, what is urgent but not
Mm.
really, just categorize them. Okay. And then after that, I do block timing. Meaning, if I see that I have an intense project, I block my time. For 2 hours, I'm going to use Pomodoro on my student's question. For the next 2 hours, I'm going to work on my podcast. For the next 2 hours, I'm going to work on this. And I'm very intentional, but I only work on three things a day, believe it or not. Big things. I only work three things because your brain
Yes.
handle it. It's going to get overwhelmed no matter what. So I do little things here and there throughout the day, but three big things so that I can check it off. And I said, okay, I was productive today. Because how many times you go in a day, you're so tired, and then you look, you're like, I didn't do anything today. What happened? Right. And then if you do that enough every day, you're going to feel like crap because you don't feel like you accomplished anything. So don't
Yes.
overwhelm yourself. Do three things. And if you're a visual person, which I am, and kinesthetic, I need something to check off. And hence
Yes.
notebook and calendar because I want something to check off. So that is how I do with my responsibilities and also making sure that I have time so that I don't feel overwhelmed. But the first thing is know your limits.
Mm.
Okay? Do not compare yourself with your neighbor, with me, with Sandra. Know your limit. And we've been socially conditioned to always say yes for some reason. Know your limit, meaning if they're truly your friend and if you're also like wanting to help you, they will accept a no. They will accept a no. So if you're a person that's high caliber, when you say coffee chats for 15 minutes, make sure that that person understand it is 15 minutes
Yes.
and respect their time and respect your time. But in order for you to have no attitude kind of coffee chats, because I have some attitude coffee chats, at the very beginning, I always say, hey guys, I literally only have 15 minutes. I don't mind. I don't want to tell you like who I am. I want to know you, right? And then go from there because everyone wants to be on the podcast, but if they're not aligning with my mission, it's no offense. It's just that you're not in my mission, right? We can
Right.
be friends, but you just can't be on the podcast because I have a mission that I'm trying to figure out. And so what I usually do is 15 minutes, and I tell them at the very beginning, this is only 15 minutes, and then we'll go from there if we need to reschedule or we need to add more schedule of time. So that's the first thing, so that you don't overcommit yourself. Because what happens is, if you 15 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour, now you miss 3 meetings. Now you're gonna have to reschedule those 3 meetings.
Exactly.
Another job, then you gotta go to school. You
Exactly. Exactly. Love those examples, sis, because it is about establishing boundaries. So you've given us some prime examples of sexy confidence where you understand your boundaries and you communicate them in a very assertive, professional way. Hey, I only have 15 minutes and this is what we're going to accomplish. You come in with an intention of what's going to be accomplished and you move forward. So I love how you break it down. You also shared with us like a metric system, which is something simple as writing it down, like 3 things, which I do the same, sis. 3 things. What 3 things can I accomplish today that by the end of the day, I'm so happy that I've accomplished them? I'm going to sleep like a champ. And that's why no freaking earthquake is going to wake me up, sis. I sleep like a champ because I'm productive, and I love this metric system, these resources you've given us to really be attentive when we need to focus on something important, such as content, creating content, working with our clients or what have you. So I love that. Another thing that I love, that how you pointed out that you start your day with gratitude, the meditation, the journal, which is these daily rituals that set the tone for the day. Sis, and mine is more simple. Like I begin making my bed because I'm all about self discipline. And you've seen it. I upload stories about making my bed because as a prior Marine Corps drill instructor, it was about attention to detail. But it's more than that. I'm intentional because I'm grateful that I have a bed. Many people don't have a bed, but yet here I have a bed. How blessed am I? So that's my way of practicing this, cultivating this attitude of gratitude. And wow, sis, I love the tips, the strategies, and you're very thorough. That's another thing that I love when you teach. You're very articulate, down to earth, and you're such an enthusiastic teacher. I love that about you. But moving right along to my next question. Great. I love what you have to share. How does Dr. CJ Leland take command of any room you step into, sis? I'll start right there with that question first.
The first thing I do, I don't know if you've noticed it when you first met me the very first time, is I look around and scan the room. I go to a lot of networking events. I think the biggest one I had was about 30,000. That's where I met Zuckerberg's sister, Randy Zuckerberg, and I think the one NASA lady who's a scientist and then one anchor woman. She was Hispanic and she was the first in her family. It was a really amazing story.
Wow.
And a bunch of like people in construction for women, because that's also like IT, there's less women in there. And what I do is I scan the room. You would think I'm an introvert when you're first beginning to meet me, because I pay attention and I scan the room. I look at body language, I look at who's who, I look at people when they talk, where are they gravitating to, right? And I that's what I was telling my daughter. She told me, Mom, this is the first time, because she moved school again. This is the first time that I'm weird and uncomfortable making new friends. And I'm normally okay with making new friends. I said, okay, tell me with the group that you want to be in. And she's like, well, they're not popular, but there's like a lot. And there's like cool people in there that I really want, because I do like skating and stuff, but I'm not basic. That's what she said. And I was like, okay, define what basic means, because sometimes you get hang up on here. My basic might not be your basic. She's like, well, they're not you, Mom. Like all out. I'm like, wow, we go there conversation. She's like, like just like t-shirt and whatever. I'm like, well, that's what you wear. I mean, what do you mean? And she's like, just having, I said, okay, this is what you need to do. Pay attention who talks the most. right? Pay attention. Only 5 minutes. You only need 5 minutes to command a room. Pay attention on there. And then also pay attention on who they gravitate the most and who's doing the walking the most. And she's like, why? I said, because that is the leader of the room. When you befriend that leader of the room and you get them in the bag, okay, then you're in for that entire group. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, because the rest are follower. Think of it as an animal. I've been living with German shepherds too long, I think. But anyway, I'm not saying I'm an alpha, but I'm saying I can see other alphas, right?
Yes, yes.
Then she's like, well, how do you do a conversation? I said, compliment gets you in. Compliments, right? Basically ask like, hey, where did you get, it's usually my lipstick that they ask because it's super red and no one's comfortable in the
Beautiful.
word.
Love
And I'm like,
it.
I don't care, it's just me. And I said, yeah, I got it at this store, I went to Sephora. How about you, where'd you get your shoes? Wonderful shoes, right? That's what I was telling my students. With women we look at shoes, with men we look at sports. They have San Diego Padres, whatever, it's football right now, right? So the
Yes.
men usually compliment, hey, where do you work or whatever. And usually for women, it's bags, lipsticks, shoes, and all that. Compliment. Then listen when that conversation, and then you can just kind of not necessarily interrupt, but like wiggle your way in. But watch what you say, because especially if they don't know you, they're judging that conversation of what you're going to say to them. So when I go
Mm.
and command the room, I do all of that things in my head because I've done
Mm.
it so many times. And you give me 5 minutes, I will know your entire story already from beginning to end.
Love that. So good, sis. So, for our viewers, our listeners that are watching, what would you recommend so she or he can be more influential, whether it's presenting or more influential, whether it's through sales? They want this end result. What do they need to do to be more influential? What would you suggest?
First of all, if you don't know them, it's through your accolades and the way you walk in the room. If
Mm,
you are not confident, your body language will give that off. Nobody is attracted to non self confident people. I'm sorry,
okay.
right? But
Yes.
too much confidence can be aggressive or narcissistic. You
Yes.
got to find that balance through your words. I'm not going to be feeling bad if I'm going somewhere in that thing and I'm all out, but you have to know your room and you have to know the people. If you're going to go in there and everyone's on t-shirt and you're in a gown, okay, first of all, you're already off, right? You're in a gown and everyone is t-shirts. You're like, didn't CJ get the memo today? Like, what is happening here, right? You want to be the person who wants to be different when you already know you're different. You don't need to prove to nobody you're different. There's kind of an oxymoron that I'm going to tell you right now. You want to look the same, but your words should be different. When people use big words because they have a doctorate, they have a PhD, you're actually distancing yourself and the rest of the people that could be your customer or friend, right? You need to actually read the room. Who is your customer? Who are you trying to do? Even if you're men, men actually sometimes they're actually more drama. Like I'm listening to my husband, I'm like, God, you guys are men. You guys have so much drama. Well, he plays golf and I don't like golf. And I'm like, yeah, but I hear you on the phone. You talk about golf sometimes. She's like, yeah, because he's my manager. You know what I mean? Like all of that. But self confidence, don't be aloof either. Try to have a conversation, but not too much. Don't try too hard because people will see
Yes.
that and then they're like, oh, I don't know. So making sure that you have enough information where you're going in, especially if you're networking, and then having fun by asking them, where are you from? Right? You're like,
Mm-hmm.
San Diego? Are you from, those are my major questions that I usually do. And you're like, oh, so what are you passionate about? Most people will ask you, what do you do for work? Right? When you ask someone, what are you passionate about? They don't literally just blurt it out. They have to think about it. They're going to remember you when you're networking. Wow, DJ actually asked me what I'm passionate about. Or if they don't remember my name, they're like, that woman that's short and loud? God, she asked me what she's passionate about. That's weird.
Vibrant. I
Yeah.
would
And
say loud, vibrant.
then they're gonna be like, I'm gonna look her up. And literally, a couple of my friends did say that. They're like, we forgot your name, but we looked you up and we found you. And I'm like, well, if you forgot my name, how did you look me up?
Mm.
There's something disconnected there. They're like, no, we asked somebody. I'm like, who somebody did you ask, right? Like, but that's how you do it. It's just read the room. When you're going to networking, read the room. As far as
Yes.
customers, don't give in too much, especially if you're in sales. Don't be so pushy. Use it as an educational. So if you're actually asking customers to buy your product or service, offer value first, because
Mhm.
then their guard is already down, because they hate salespeople. I hate salespeople too.
Yes.
But here's the thing, their guard is already down when you offer value, because now they're listening. What can she offer me? I can offer you more, but you're not going to want to listen to me if I start with, this is $2,000. This is $4,000. No one wants to listen to you at that point, even if they can afford it. Because then they're thinking, what kind of value is she adding? She's all about the money, right? We know
Right.
you're going to need money because you're selling service, but what kind of value can you offer me? It's not about
Exactly.
sometimes the price. Like, why do you go to Walmart versus going to Nordstrom? Because you know customer service and the quality is great. That's why, and you're paying for that money. So you have to offer value first. And if you don't know anybody and you're just going to the room, just look. Scan the room, guys. Scan the room. And
Yes.
see. Just like when you're researching a paper, you don't just start writing a paper and pretend that you know what you're doing. You got to read up, you got to research, right? Well, it's not like you
Mm.
can scan people and read them. So what you do is you stand them and just watch who is more popular, because you'll see people are gravitating to that person. Then who is actually like quiet. Sometimes you can befriend somebody who's quiet, and that somebody's quiet actually is the CEO of the company. That happened to me as well. Just kind of, and then sometimes they actually know each other, right? And you don't know, they just know each other. And so if you gravitate to one already that actually has influence but just kind of getting back, then you now know. But offer friendship first, usually by complimenting.
I love how you ended it with the whole friendship, because it really is about having that heart centered approach, especially as a leader, right, sis? Like your heart and your passion has to be in it. And I going back to what you've shared from showing your daughter how to look at her surroundings, pay attention to this in crowd that she potentially wants to be a part of, or what have you, right? You're teaching her to develop her emotional intelligence, her, to understand human behavior a little bit more. And that's so important, sis. And I love how you break it down to such a basic concept for everybody who's watching, so they can grasp this information. And as they take command of any room they step into, it is about the friendship piece. It's about being relational, not transactional. It's
Mhm.
everything. And I think that's why you and I, sis, were like, I was like, oh my God, I love this woman. And what? She's here in Southern California. I'm like, it was meant to be.
And you're like, you're in San Diego? What? Let's go. Yeah.
And it was just game on after that. So what a blessing, it has been, just watching your journey, what my journey as well, which it never ends, this process of transformation. So I want to applaud the men and women that are still watching, because this is what it's all about. When most people are at happy hour, which maybe one day we'll be together at a happy hour, nothing wrong with that. But like Christine is here, great to have you, Christine. Raquel, gorgeous Raquel. It's about investing in ourselves so we can learn, so we can move the needle in our life and business. And I I just, gosh, what a great conversation, sis. You said also too much confidence. And this is another thing that women come to, because I love these high caliber female entrepreneurs. This woman who has an insatiable appetite for growth. It's this woman who lives her life with integrity. It's this woman that you and I seek because she's got this heart centered approach, right, sis? But I love how you said too much confidence can be narcissistic. And I'm glad you pointed that out because most women like that help, they're very in tune with their masculinity. It's like masculinity, it's what drives us. It's why you're ambitious. It's why you're so structured and you get shit done. So, as we take command of the room, sis, and you're scanning and you're understanding people a little bit more, how can females and males tap into more of their femininity so they can listen, right? Be like active lit. And it's this art that I'm constantly practicing because you're giving us so much information. So give us some more, sister, give us some more. How can this woman tap into her femininity and really understand what it means to have this heart centered approach?
Okay, so two folds. I actually wanted to continue this presenter thing, by the way, before I answer your question.
Yes, please.
When you present something, you've seen me do series at Laura's, you've seen me do in person. When you're presenting, by the way, in a presentation format, know your crap. Okay, like really study it. Don't just show up, I'm gonna wing it, because people will know you wing it. I will know. I'm teaching you 555 presentation rule. Please stick to 555 rules, because that's for the board of directors. And if you want to level up, you need to level up today, actually yesterday, not tomorrow. So when I tell you stick with 555 rule, my feedback is like, you didn't listen. So here we are with this feedback again. We wouldn't even have this feedback if you did listen to the first time. But most of the time, I have to be careful because we don't want to tell people that when they're trying their best, right?
Mm.
Especially if they don't also feel good. Sometimes we're sick and we're hearing, we do need it. But if we're hearing things that are not feeling good, sometimes you reject that, even if it's good, right? So, what I do to balance that is I always have two folds of feedback. I'll tell you what your strengths are. Like Sandra, you did such a good job. You're so positive. I love your vibe. I love your energy. Here's my suggestion for opportunity of growth, or for opportunity to grow.
Ooh.
Used to do a sandwich approach as a teacher, and sandwich approach goes this: Sandra, you did a great job. That was so amazing. But I think you could do less of this. But anyway, overall, great job. When someone tells me that, it's more like a sandwich that just got slapped with all the sauces and eat it anyway, right? Like it's good, but whatever. That's not how I want it. You see what I'm saying? And we have been taught that way. But as years have passed, I said I have people in my team who are MIT managers, directors, Harvard medical doctors that are on my team. I'm not going to tell them go slap that sandwich and go with it, right? No, what we're trying to do as a circle, as a human being, is that we're always continuously improvement. I don't care who you are, how much money you have, how many degrees you have, you're always
Yeah.
going to grow. And if you're going to stop growing, get out of my way, because we're all growing right here in this tribe, right? But here's the thing: your words. Remember, I told you with the successful rate of hostage negotiator, right? There's two:
Yes.
words and knowledge, words and knowledge. And remember that knowledge is power only if there's action that you can push with that, right? I can tell you I'm blue in the face that I love you, but if I don't show you by giving you ideas and things like that,
Mm.
that is shallow love. That is not like really true helpful, right? So when you give feedback to somebody, always tell them what their strengths are and their opportunity to grow, which is a SWOT analysis. Please, if you're watching, do your own SWOT analysis personally. Do three things. Again, number three is my magic thing, okay? That I'm comfortable with three. Go ahead and do, okay, what are my strengths? Be honest with what your strengths are. What are your weaknesses?
Mm-hmm.
Honest with that opportunities that you can grow, and your threats. Now, I want your threats to basically not become your weakness. I want your weakness to be your strength. And I want that threat and your weakness and your strength combined to bring up opportunities to grow and level up.
Mm.
But you got to be open to discomfort, because growing is painful. Just like
Yes.
a kid. When you're two, you're teething, right? You're like, your kid is screaming, crying, all this nonsense. You got fever, you got, attitude because they're growing their teeth. Same thing for human. When you're growing, everything that you're feeling that's discomfort, uncomfortable, you're sweating, you're really just all over you're growing. That's a good thing.
Yes. Yes. And it's for the women that are deep in the trenches, right? That are going through that difficulty, challenge, because one of the things I will often say, adversity is our advantage, ladies.
Hmm.
Adversity is your advantage. And it's through adversity that we can develop that mental toughness, that grit that enables us to persevere and move forward and experience a beautiful lesson. It's like, okay, I was a total mess and I'm still going to be a total mess. It's okay. This is me. And and I'm going to move forward in the best possible way that I can, because this is what stepping into my best version entails. It requires discomfort. So good, sister. So good.
Yeah. And another thing is with your goal, guys. I don't know if you guys know SMART goals. For all the teachers out there, we know what SMART goals, the students, right? SMART goal is basically very specific goal that you can measure, that is
Mhm.
achievable, relevant, and time bound, right? Because, like, for example, you want to be an author. You've been writing your book for the last 10 years. That's not time bound. Okay, let's go. Right? So it's having that SMART goal. Be very specific on what you're trying to do and make sure that it is measurable. Like, you can literally put matrix that you can put it of, like, okay, what is it going to be? Well, I got to do this and I got to do this. Like LinkedIn, I do LinkedIn optimization series for Laura's college. I'm
Yes.
going to show you algorithms and why it's important to engage this way versus this way, because I can show you numbers that I've been testing throughout the week on what engagement looks like, and if you don't engage, what your impressions looks like
Exactly.
are measurable. You can measure that, and it has to be relevant to what you're trying to do with your life. And you have to have time to eat, to basically said, okay, enough is enough. This is gonna be, the project is gonna be done, right? And I
Right.
know Sister Nicole knows what I'm talking about, because I'm like 50 inspirational. She's like, I have two more. I'm like, nope, it was Saturday. And she's like, but I have three more. Nope, that was Saturday. And she's like, oh, I'm not even gonna ask you. I'm like, yep, that was Saturday, right? Like, I mean, you have to have that. And I'm, like you said, I'm very structured, because the way I do it for the since I've been, jeez, I was 5. It's always been structured. You get up this way. This is what you do, and it's always worked for me. And that's why I can do a lot of things multiple times at the same time, because I have a strategy. I do my Pomodoro. I concentrate. Boom. I concentrate. Boom. The problem with us is this. This is our problem. You're like, wait, I need to check on something. Oh, wait, let me
Yes.
check on Facebook. Oh, wow, what's happening on TikTok and Instagram? I do that too. But if you're like, okay, I need a project done, I do the Pomodoro. I finish it and done. And don't procrastinate either. If you can do it right now, do it right now. Don't be like, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. No, tomorrow's too late. Do it now, so you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. Procrastination. What a thief, huh?
Yeah.
It's really a thief. Wow. Wow, sister. So much good stuff here that you give me other ideas for other topics that are forthcoming. So this is one of many. Just be prepared. One of many topics. But I did present that question. I think we could save that question for another time. That way, our listeners and viewers are like, when is she going to answer that question about masculinity and femininity? Because that's a topic within itself. So I'm throwing it out there so they can come back for more. I'm enticing them with that information. But I want to ask you so many questions, sister, but I think this is the appropriate time for us to share about the global summit, because I'm excited for the global summit and some of the badass, high caliber women entrepreneurs and men that are watching this live stream. Thank you so much for the support, ladies and gents, are going to be speakers at that global summit. Can you please share what the global summit entails? Who would definitely benefit from that? to share a little bit more about that, sister, please?
Sure. So the global summit is the theme is recharge and in charge, right?
Ooh,
And reason for that, it's like I always keen it, and you'll see it on my graphics that I create, is like a cell phone. We love our cell phone, whether it's Samsung or iPhone. It's full of applications that we do, from telephone to calendars to, all the apps, the LinkedIn, the Instagram, the Facebook, I mean, I could go on, right? But just like a phone, we're just like walking phone. We're full of geniuses of our own zone. But here's the thing. If we don't recharge ourselves, or we don't keen, just like this, it's going to deplete the battery. It's going to deplete your energy. If you're complacent and you're always in the comfortable zone and you're not at the discomfort level, things will fly so fast. Why do you think that, Blockbuster is gone and they were huge, right? Why do you think Sears closed? Why do you think Toys R Us? I did not even see that coming close. These are big giants, guys. They close
yes.
because they're not paying attention on what is trending socially, that is on economically. It's called past analysis: political, economic, social, cultural, and technology. Those four pillars you need to pay attention to, because those four pillars is something you cannot control. However, you can control knowledge by having these information towards you. What is trending right now? Mental well
Mm,
right now in our community, right? A lot of people are struggling, whether it's financial, whether just having self-doubt because they're a gigpreneur and they just can't find the customer, whether whatever that is that you're having doubts with yourself, right? And sometimes
yes.
it just drains you. So this global summit is about recharging you. What we do is we provide tools that we're using in our own zone of geniuses to share with you, right? It's free for the summit, but we're going to be selling our little treasures, right? We are going to have a giveaway on that treasure. We're going to have a PDF form for you. We're going to have a video recorded for you so you can keep it and review it so you can work. Now, let's say that you buy something from Sandra and you're like, Sandra, I love what I bought for you, but I really need more of you. Just take her, DM her, call her, take her. I'm giving her away to you guys, okay? But that's my point. The Global Summit is about that. It's not the 50 inspirational connections is highlighting your our community. But now it's time to take those individuals within the community and package them in their own zone of genius so you guys can recharge and retool and skill up. And that is what the summit is all about.
Love it. It's about helping them level up. Wow. I cannot wait, sis. And now the Global Summit is in October from the 11th through the 13th. Is that correct?
12th, 13th, 14th. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Nicole
Okay.
actually moved it because I wanted Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And she's like,
Yes.
hello, I work. And I'm like, oh, you're right. So I moved it. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. She better not say no now because I moved those dates for her.
No, I think it's good for her. I think she's locked on. So 12th, 13th, and 14th. And where can the viewers, where can they, you know, sub, like sign up, register for this global summit? Is it free? What, are you looking for more speakers, sis?
Yes, I'm glad that you said that. So they can go to levelupwithdoc.com. And there's actually, I'm still looking for certain speakers. I have a lot of people that wanting to be a speaker. So I'm just going to give you a heads up. Don't feel bad if I don't pick you as a speaker. What I'm looking for is someone who can give, that's very basically heart-centered individual who can give to our community, right?
Yes.
Of course you're going to be visible because I'm in all social media and everyone in here is also all in social media, so more collaboration for you. But what I'm really looking for is someone that's willing to package a $4 or $5,000 normal, like for example Steve Kidd I think has like $3 or $4,000 class. I'm packaging it for $50. He's willing to do that for me, for you guys, right? So that's what I'm looking for, is more impact and legacy, because at the end of the day we all need coaches, we all need that, but at the end results, what is the outcome? What do you want out of it? Impact and legacy, so you can scale up yourself, because the more lives I touch to level up, the more you're going to touch more lives. And the people that
Yes.
you touch more lives, they're going to level up, and then more people they're going to touch lives. You see, that's how I can make impact in the world, is through you guys and collaborate.
Beautiful. And that's why you're this global, collaborative advocate who leads from the front, sis. You really do. And I love your heart-centered approach. I love what you stand for, and I'm honored to be part of the global summit. And I can't wait because you're combining all these amazing influential speakers, and you're like giving this stuff away for a fraction of the price. Like,
Yeah, and here's the thing: the people that are gonna register on the actual summit, it's free. We're gonna have a panel discussion, and you're gonna get information for free. The reason that I'm even packaging them, okay, this way is because, let's be honest, you're all not gonna go to all 30 speakers, okay? It's just not happening. I know that. But if you want somebody who's a speaker but you can't attend because of work, whatever, right? You can buy and purchase their thoughts, their zones of geniuses that they already do for their community for a fraction of the price that you can't even find anywhere with, even in their website. Because I am asking them to package it where my people can afford it, because my mission
yes,
is to level up the world through education. You can't level up the world through education if everything you're selling is five to $10,000. You're narrowing the people of the knowledge that you're providing. So anybody that's going to be in my global assignment is going to be somebody who's willing to lower their price so that we can make more impact. We can make more legacy for the rest of the world. And we probably will have someone from Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, London. I mean, I'm trying to get everyone in different zones so we can get it together where everyone can scale up and level up. And the thing that I'm actually doing is going to be 6 events, 2 every single day. One nighttime, one daytime. The reason for that's because when it's daytime for us here,
yes,
nighttime for our brothers and sisters somewhere else.
exactly.
It's nighttime here. It's day in that nighttime over there. It's daytime for us. I'm gonna do both. I can do night. I already took off work. It's already approved. I can do it. So I'm gonna be doing it where it's gonna be 6 events. I do want to tell you that we are selling sponsorships, so we can put your logo in there, and we'll have an after party for all the sponsors and the speakers together. Yeah,
When's that after party, sis?
the weekend after. And if you have a product that you want to sell and you want to be a sponsor, you can create a video for me, and I'll push it in for the website as well.
Wow. Love it. Love all this information. Uh, Thank you so much, sis. You spoke about time management earlier today, and and I have to respect your time, my time, the time of our viewers, our listeners that were watching. Thank you so much for being attentive. I just, when you give somebody your undivided attention, it equates to retention. And I'll never forget that. That comes from Dr. Jim Quick. He's an amazing, you know, author, influential speaker. He's like this brain coach. Amazing. I'm sure you know who he is, sis. But right when you give someone your undivided attention, it equates to retention. So where can they follow you if they want? Okay, they got the information on the global summit. How else can they get a hold of you? Will this suffice?
Yeah, so yes, because I have a thing in there. But if you guys just hit Google, everyone knows Google. Just type Constance Leland. I'm sure you'll find me
Beautiful.
anywhere, Amazon, anywhere you want to do. But if you just want to talk to me, I've heard someone told me that they thought they couldn't talk to me. I don't know why I'm giving off that energy. I apologize ahead of time. You can definitely DM me. You can always talk to me. It doesn't matter how big.
Yes.
You can always talk to me.
You're the
Yeah,
sweetest woman ever, ever. Love you. Yes.
love you too.
So,
But here's the thing: before you end, how often is your show? What time usually is your show?
oh, snap. So, for now, sis, I'm excited. I already know who my next speaker is. I would say twice a month just to begin so I can, because I'm working on other exciting things that I'm passionate about. Once I get that out of the way, then I'll be more consistent. But to begin with, twice a month, definitely on a Friday. Uh, Time frame, I would say, anywhere between 1, 2, 3, around this, no later than this time, Pacific Standard Time. So thank you for asking. And before I give my closing remarks, sister, do you have any closing remarks?
Yes. Show up for yourself if you want something. Be the driver of your own destiny. Do not let your current situation stop you from whatever you want. And remember, I'm here, Sandra's here, and we are strong as a tribe. We can help you.
You're that perfect example, sister. Thank you. What beautiful parting words. Thank you so much, Dr. Constance Leland, for being here today, giving us so much wealth of information. And for our viewers, muchas gracias. I appreciate you being here. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Sexy Confidence Podcast. If you need help, I offer a sexy inner critic assessment. This inner critic assessment is for you if you're this high caliber female entrepreneur and you want to kick self doubt and perfectionism to the curb. I'm here to serve you. You can contact me directly at sandragonzalez.com. It's been an absolute honor. I hope you have an amazing Labor Day weekend. We got Labor Day
I
weekend.
don't know what time it is. This is down under Australian brother. What?
Tim is in Australia, right?
I know. Oh, lindas mis hermanas.
Linda hermana Raquel.
Gracias.
What an amazing influential leader. Thank you for being here, sis. Um, wow. I know Raquel's in Texas and Tim, Australia, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
Australia. Yeah.
Texas, and then we go to Australia, sis. I'm ready. My bags are packed. I love to travel. So
My
thank
bag
you.
too, and my wig is ready too to go. I'm a blonde sometimes. I'm a redhead sometimes. Whatever floats my boat. Okay.
Beautiful. Love that personality. Have an amazing day. Stay safe. And I'll see you on the next episode of Sexy Confidence Podcast. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. See ya.